I'm thinking of all the poets who have brought us all here, and William Stafford for many of us, and Mahmoud Darwish for many people I care about in the world. And I finally got to hear one of my favorite poets in music live this summer. After dreaming of hearing him for more than 35 years, I caught the Tom Waits Glitter and Doom tour. Did anyone hear it? Oh my God. And, you know, if you listen to Tom Waits obsessively for 35 years and then finally see him, and I happened to go to the only standing venue concert on the whole Glitter and Doom tour, but my luck was that I got to stand right there, and he was right here. And so when he came out, I was fascinated by every little detail because I could see it. And he stood there for a minute before he did anything, and he just did this. And that's how I feel at Dodge. Like we're just doing this. Everywhere we walk around, like picking up these little energy beams from each other. Thank you, all of you who've traveled so far and who've been so generous here in all the sessions. This is for Mutanabe Street, the street in Baghdad that sold books. Quote, "Books and stationery, some still tied in charred bundles, littered the street. A single sentence which mesmerized one mind for hours will not be seen again in that edition, will not be tucked into the bookshelf of the friend we will not meet, on the street we will not know. What blows to pieces goes fast. They'll give it names, successful, progress. What lingers long, quiet hours reading, in which people were the best they hadn't been yet. Something was coming, something exquisitely new, something hopeful anyone might do, and the paper flicker of turning." As Franz said, you're so generous, you don't have to clap, thank you. The poet Janine Palmy Vega has been conducting for 12 years a poetry workshop in a prison somewhere an hour and a half north of Woodstock. And I visited her workshop a few months ago. Maximum security. Vocabularies glittered in that tightly locked space, ways of breaking through, tunneling verbs, compact, muscular descriptives you could hop a wall with, if only. Try this on your own time. What they had, time. And regret. Imagine if we'd known these wide words in the streets. The youngest, celebrating his birthday, sat in front, hands folded on desk, smiling softly through apologies to daughters. What happened on that avenue? A train stalled outside a school. Normal days marked by sun, moon, money, and lack of it. Finely tuned gerunds clinking in succession. Adjectives polished and combed. Say how beautiful they were in their same suits. A crowd of men you knew would help if you were falling, someone pushed you down. How every one of us has 100 ways we could go wrong, and they are very close by. Say they opened lines to climb out of them, past tense, more exquisite than present, and repetition, the mysterious comfort of rolling back-to-back syllables when it might be better to insert a new phrase or start over entirely. If only. Beam of light fishing the page. this for Peter and Adina and my father. It's called For Aziz, who loved Jerusalem. My father was born in the Old City and grew up and went to school there and came to the United States when he was 21. A city trades prisoners, erects blockades, people bulldoze homes and cars, buses explode back and forth. The army's roaring tanks are never called terrorists. 3 religions buried inside a city's walls. Some kiss the walls. Some walk beside them, emptied of belief. My father dies with 2 languages tucked inside his head. Now we will never learn Arabic. For half a century we lived in mighty proximity to the resonant underpinnings, consonants, and vowels. Now, a 7-pound box of ash. After many months, we still have not scattered or buried them. They are not him, but I kiss the box. Isle of Mull, Scotland. Because by now we know everything is not so green elsewhere. The cities tied their nooses around our necks. We let them without even seeing, not even feeling our breath soften as clumps of shed wool scattered across days. Not even. This evening, balanced beam of light on green, the widely lifted land, resonance of moor winding down to water, the full of it. Days of cows and sheep bending their heads. We walked where the ancient pier juts into the sea, stood on the rim of the pool by the circle of black boulders. No one saw we were there, and everyone who had ever been there stood silently in air. Where else do we ever have to go? And why? Sad mail. It's strange to think how letters used to be letters, letting you know someone liked you, saying pleasant, dull things like, "How are you? We are fine." Making you wish for more, but not weighing, really. Now letters are funnels of want. Please do what you can. Help me get into Yaddo, where I have never been. Tell my teachers I am a good student. Don't you think I would be excellent in that program overseas? I want to send everyone overseas. I want to be there myself, where my mail can't find me. It's startling to miss the sweet, dim-witted reports of summers and boyfriends, journeys and pets, the scented lilac envelopes. Now the envelopes are long and white, letters beginning how long it has been since we really connected, pole vaulting into the request by the second paragraph. And no one ever says, "You have months to do this in. You have till tomorrow." I am lonely with my mail. Yesterday I went out walking before the mailman came, and the street was filled with carcasses of empty envelopes, dampened and tattered, the wings of exotic insects lost without their bodies. I wanted to bend and reclaim them, smooth them, fill them with unsigned notes, and drop them into my neighbor's shining boxes, one at a time. I think in penance for writing that fussy little paragraph, we got a new mailman whose commitment is to deliver no mail to the proper box. So we now spend a lot of free time meeting each other in all the blocks, inner city. Kindness. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hands, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you. He too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. The light that shines on us now, this strange beam of being right, smug spotlight. What else could we have done? Asks a little one. What else? 3 girls with book bags fleeing tanks. Now that we are so bold, now that we pretend God likes some kinds of killing, how will we deserve the light of candles, soft beam of small lamp falling across any safe bed? Orphan boy in a striped shirt, trapped between 2 glum uncles. He carries his mother's smooth fragrance and father's solid voice. They were not countries, they were continents. I keep waiting for all this financial talk, for there to be clearer connections made between how much money has been spent on a needless war and how much money we need. And those of us who have been present when libraries closed in school districts, when librarians were fired in school districts, when counselors were fired because of funding matters, people you would never think would be fired, and you just wonder, what's going on? Why don't more people make these really simple, rational connections? So this was shortly after the death of Johnny Carson. It's called Johnny Carson in Baghdad, and it was a surreal hallucination I kept having, just missing Johnny Carson late at night. What if we had sent Johnny to Baghdad instead of all those other folks, all that hardened apparatus, all those dun-colored supplies? It would have cost less, even if we paid him what he was worth. Maybe we could have sent a curtain with him so he could walk out everywhere, surprising people with his endless cheer, lifting his eyebrows when someone said something weird, handing Saddam a monkey or a tarantula at an appropriate moment, asking the right questions that would make things fall into focus, inspiring the vast Middle Eastern laugh so buried in these times. Who do you trust? He might have put on that turban too, or dressed as a and things would have gone better. If they got rough, he could invite the little bear to drink out of someone's coffee cup, and I promise no one would have harmed him or wanted to. He would never have broken down a door or been cruel to a prisoner, but when everyone was laughing, might have done some sleight of hand to move people to a better place, make them look agreeable, more like one another, the way they are, instead of this stupid wreckage that lessens us on both sides of the sea. Don't you wish?